Mr Speaker, and thank you to the member for Lismore, an incredibly hard-working advocate. I'm having one-on-one meetings at the moment with every single CEO across the local health districts, and yesterday I met with Lynn Weir, your CEO at Northern, and spoke very highly of you and the federal member up there for their incredible advocacy, particularly over the last few years. So thank you very, very much. Last week I spent some time with the member for Barwon in his very expansive electorate. One of the communities that we visited was Walgett, an incredibly important community and a remote community, and a community who's doing it tough at the moment. And I want to thank the member for Barwon. Everywhere I went in his electorate, people would either pull me aside or him aside and thank him for his advocacy. He does an incredibly important role in making sure that the people of Western New South Wales have a voice in this place. So thank you very, very much. One of the meetings I had was with the Aboriginal Medical Service in Walgett, and I met with a woman by the name of Christine Corby. She's the Chief Executive Officer and her team. And then I met with Walgett MPS, which is our multi-purpose services, hospitals with aged care services in the bush, and I met with Susan Marnie at that service. Incredibly important services, doing really great work out in rural and regional New South Wales. And I said from the very beginning, and I've been saying for 4 years now, that we need to focus beyond the Blue Mountains and make sure that our rural, remote and regional communities feel they have a strong voice in here, and that their healthcare and access to healthcare is as good as anyone's in the metropolitan city. And Mr Speaker, I was really proud last week to unveil with the member for Barwon a mobile CT imaging van, an imaging van that will travel the length and breadth of Western New South Wales and provide important CT imaging to people who otherwise would have to travel hundreds and hundreds of kilometres for what many of us in metropolitan cities simply take for granted. I was speaking to Tom Capel, who was the senior radiographer on the site. He said in the first week, that van had saved someone's life by getting an early diagnosis and getting them the treatment they need. I made it very clear to him and the district, Luke Sloan, who looks after regional health in the department, made it very clear that this is the type of thing that we need out in Western New South Wales, and we need to go beyond CT and look at other imaging to make it easy for people to access healthcare in and around those rural and remote communities. One of the other communities that I
seek an extension of time.
The member of Lismore is seeking an extension of time. 2 minutes is granted. One
of the other communities I popped into and had a chat to was the community out in Dubbo and the work that they are doing in virtual care. The hub there is doing an enormous amount of work to bring the very best in medical support and the very best in medical advice and clinicians to rural and remote communities. Now, it's in early days and there's a lot more that we can do in this space, but it is heading in the right direction, and what we're focused on is taking the action needed to address the challenges in rural and regional healthcare that we face in New South Wales. Action like VCare out at Dubbo, action like the mobile CT scanner, action like making sure within the first week of Parliament we've established a lower house committee that will drive the recommendations into the landmark inquiry, an inquiry that the National Party and Liberal Party tried to prevent happening. Right. What we are doing through the member for Wagga and the member for Lismore is to drive those recommendations to send a very clear message to the public servants that regional and rural healthcare matters just as much as those in metropolitan communities. And we want to make sure that people from Walgett, people from Gilgandra, people from Moree, who I was with the other day with Northern Tablelands, people from Bathurst and Orange, they feel they have a strong advocate in here. Under a Minns Labor government, they do. They have a team who is focused on their healthcare. They have a team who's focused on the health services that they need and deserve, and that they have a team who's prepared to listen and prepared to make improvements when it matters most. And I can assure regional and rural members in this place, no matter what political party you're from, the door is open for improvements to health services to the communities that you do so well to represent.
Thank the Minister.